Good evening and welcome to the Simply Colorful FiberCast. Today's date is December 15th, 2017. My name is Lynn Marquidon and I'm your host. Welcome and happy holidays. I hope you're in a festive spirit. I know I am. And I know I look a little buried here, but I wanted to make sure that you saw the poinsettia and how pretty that was, and the trees, and of course the winter themed quilt behind me. So we have an hour. Grab a project. Let's get working, and hopefully we will be delighted with what we finish in 60 minutes. I know I switched it up on you. Delighted, amazed. Anyway, I am so glad it's Friday. We're going to do three things tonight. We're going to make a corner block of the Dear Jane quilt. I picked the easiest one so we could do it the fastest. We're going to make Christmas coasters, 2 of them. These are Becky's favorite Christmas coasters. In fact, the ingredients came from her last time we were at the barn. And we're going to talk about the basket sampler quilt that we're going to start at the new year. And I have some ideas around that. So again, grab a project and let's get sewing. Dear Jane, this is our Civil War quilt that was made back in 1863 by Jane. And this is the Civil War version. I'm making a beachy version, and I started it in 2012, and the goal is to finish it in 2020. There are 4 corner blocks, and this is the one I'm going to make. It is TLC Sadie Rose. Here it is on the front cover on the original quilt. So see that right in the corner? That's what we're going to make. And I am taking every possible shortcut I can. I'll leave that open so we can jot our notes down. Here, first off, I printed out the pattern from my software. I have Dear Jane software. If you need a copy of Dear Jane software or you want to give it as a gift, go to my website, simplycolorful.com, and order it through there and show us a little love through Amazon. What I've done is I have remember a few weeks ago, we were patting ourselves on the back for finding the charm squares all in blues and how I'm going to use them in my Dear Jane quilt. Well, I went back to it and I found this pretty blue, 2 squares of it. And that's what I'm going to use along with my white that I've been using throughout all my squares. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start with my blue square, and then I'm going to sew the white around it, and then I'm going to sew white on top to make it look like all of those hexagons. So I'll show you as we keep going. I did draw on it, and what are we going to do first? Oh, first, I need my glasses. And as I'm putting my glasses on, remember, send a picture of whatever you're working to lynn@simplycolorful.com, and I'll show it on the air and show it to everyone. We'd love to see what you're working on. So I don't know if you can see this, but I have pencil lines on this for where I need to place the white pieces. And I went ahead and actually cut out white pieces and ironed them. So now I can put them on at least the corners. I'm going to baste them on the corners, and then I'm going to sew around it to make the rest of the corner square. This will just be a baste, so it doesn't have to be pretty because it's going to come out. In fact, I probably should use a different color, but we've got white here. And what I'm going to do is on each corner, lay this down on the corner. And again, if you want to look online, the block, to look up the block we're making, if that helps, it's TLC Sadie Rose. And then there are some triangles that go here. What I thought I'd do is I'm basting these on so that then when I sew the rest of the pieces around this, it'll catch the edges and it'll look cleaner. I hope that makes sense. I'll show you. So there's a second one I've put on. Now let's put another one on. There are 8 of these. And I love to hear about everyone's Dear Jane projects. And then I'll put a corner one on. Everyone is doing such beautiful work. And really, it's the power of the design. Even if we've shown, you know, you can do machine applique, you can do all these different fast ways. I mean, Jane most assuredly cut out each little piece here and sewed it together by candlelight, most likely, while she waited for her brother and her husband to come home from war. You know, when I go wait for things these days, I can't remember what, maybe lately. Well, actually, traveling this week, sure. When you wait for airplanes or you're in the airplane, or I'm now tethered to that phone, and that keeps me company, whether I'm listening to a podcast or I'm surfing email or the internet or Facebook. Imagine it's a always entertained. I'm always able to be entertained. Imagine what it was like when we had none of that. And how would you feed your imagination? Even if you probably couldn't even get access to too many books, although hopefully you could. We live in a remarkable time, don't we? So I'm just going around and around. It is freezing here in the Northeast. It was cold in Austin, Texas, where I was this week, like 30, and then it would go up to 40 or 50. But here, my goodness, it was 12 this morning, I think. Okay, so we're getting there. And I just keep going around and around. Having drawn out the placement of these is helping me. And the way I drew out the placement, just so you know, is I cut out one of these, and then I put it on my piece of blue, and I just used a pencil, and I jotted where the squares were and where these triangles were, just so you know. And we're going to use this later for this other one piece up at the top. We have to put one right there. Back while I have it here, because we're racing the clock, don't you know? If I had a piece of sandpaper I could put underneath that, that would work really well. In fact, I do. You know this trick? Put sandpaper underneath, and then as you trace, your fabric doesn't move. Okay. I feel like I'm in my little cocoon here with my iron and my flowers. It's nice. Okay, so there's that. That'll be ready to baste. That there. Okay. And then we have our final corner. I arrived home from Austin yesterday, and so our tree has been naked, standing up in the living room for a week. And when I arrived home, our lights and ornaments were on the couch. And so it was so easy. Last night, we just strung them up and put on. We got the neatest thing, and I'm sure you've all seen this before, but it's a clicker, so you can turn the lights on and off remotely. It's a remote. And you plug, my aunt and uncle gave it to us years ago, Aunt Nancy. And you plug it into the wall, then you plug the lights into it, and it allows you to turn the lights on and off. Highly recommended if you don't have that. Another modern convenience. Okay, so now those are all basted. Now what I'm going to do, see, so that'll go there. I'm going to take this off because we really haven't prepared that yet. And I'm going to start sewing. Oh, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this as a paper pieced pattern. Golly, this is going to work even better than I thought. So what I'm doing is I'm holding it up to the light so I can see where to sew. Okay, and I have done that, right? Now, what we need to do, put this down. What's everyone thinking? We're going to get this or not? We're going to get it. Don't you worry. So turn this on. Hopefully she's plugged in. Hey, who's out there? Hey, hi, Chris. Chris says she's wrapping presents, keeping company. She said, you're keeping me company while I wrap Christmas presents. Oh, Merry Christmas. That's great. Okay, hopefully we caught that. We did. So see how we caught those top pieces? Now I'm going to fold this back when I'm paper piecing. I am not a precise paper piecer like a Carol Doak or Jen Sorensen. And I know that there's a tool out there that I can measure 1/4 of an inch, and really I should use that at least. But see, I've cut that off. And now I go to my iron. And I'm going to iron that open. Chris, I'm using your iron. Thank you. I love this. Okay, so that's one. Now let's do this side. Okay. Do. No. Okay, so there's that. If I pull it back, did we catch anything? Everything we did. So now I'm going to fold my paper back. I'll show you all these jagged edges. See those? Those are what I just need to clean up. You should see them below my sewing machine every Saturday. Because I've told you, since we've been doing this FiberCast, we're almost finishing our 4th year. So what I do is when I turn off FiberCast at 9 o'clock, I don't do another thing. I just turn all the electricity off and I come back on a Saturday morning and I clean up. 9 times out of 10, that's what I do. Oops, I didn't want to do that. I just pulled my basting stitch. Okay. All right, so there are 2. Hope you can see what I'm attempting to do here. Now I'm going to do this side, so right along here. Oh, my basting came undone. Hang on. Just need to re-iron it. So these coasters we're going to make are so amazingly easy. I say that, and yet, frankly, I've never made one. I've watched people make them. I've looked at them. I've used them over the years. So that'll be my famous last words if I can't figure it out. But I'm pretty sure. And it is a little trick. It's like the pillowcase flipping. I'll just tell you that much. Hello. Who's out there? Oh, man. I wonder if Jean's here. Has anyone heard from Jean? Oh, Jean is always on time or ahead of time, although she's so busy. But I would think, Jean, if you're there, send us an email and let me know. Let us know. The world wants to know where in the world is Jean. Where in the world is Waldo? Where in the world is Jean? Okay. So again, we just cut this. There's 3. There's Jean. I bet that's Jean. Huh. Jean. Chris says, seriously? Don't know to what she refers. Okay, so now we are cranking, everyone. We are cranking. I'm going to do this final one over here. Look at all this extra fabric I'm using, but I'll use it in other littler squares. Littler pieces. on other Dear Jane blocks. That's where I'll use it. So now I fold this back. I hope maybe you're getting a sense for what this paper piecing is like. In fact, speaking of paper piecing, I used paper piecing on this quilt behind me for the houses. See the houses and the trees? In January, we're going to start making a basket sampler quilt. And I am thinking, I'm feeling like, and Becca sent some beautiful examples, really well done. And I'm thinking, and we're going to research those, find out who has those patterns and maybe make those available. I'm thinking I might want to do some funky free-form baskets. And I might like draw them on paper piece and then use my scraps. So that's what I'm thinking. Okay, so here we have this big old piece, right? Now what I want to do is put this on. I wonder if that's Jean. We'll have to look. Or could be Lima, could be. So Karen says she must be getting paid a nickel a jean tonight. You caught on. That's so funny. How are you, KB? KB out in Pennsylvania, where it also snowed. Is anyone else's driveway slick? Uh-oh. Lots of dings. I'm loving this. Right? Says Chris. Oh, I guess they're having a personal conversation and I'm not supposed to be on the thread. That might be what's happening, which I love to be on the thread. So all I'm doing is basting this so that then I can put it on my block. I wonder if Sue Norton is out there. I hope you are. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're finding the spirit of Christmas here and there. You know, this isn't very exciting, but we have to do it in order to get it onto this. Oh, I got lots of batting in the mail today from Dream Cotton. That's what it is. King size batting. So if anyone has a king size quilt out there, let me have it. I'm ready. Oh, and don't forget, there's still a $20 off if you get me your quilt before Christmas. And if you really need it done to be done by Christmas, I probably still have opportunity for one or two. All right, so there's that. Just baste it on so that when I'm downstairs by the fire and the Christmas tree with Bob, I can finish that up with a nice hidden stitch. Now remember, this is, I don't know if you can see the front of that, or let me show you again. Well, show you the front of that. Now what we have to do is just put 4 little squares there to create the illusion that we sewed 9 of those on. Okay? And then we're going to make coasters. Yeah. Before we started tonight, I took a square piece of paper and I made 4 little white pieces of fabric and I ironed them so that, oh, and this is where my glue stick would be perfect. Marquet, if you're out there, thank you for introducing me to glue sticks. You guys use them? I bet my sister uses them. There's one. I've never had any problem quilting over glue sticks or having them impact anything. It washes right out. There's 2. See, it's an optical illusion. Get it on there right. There's 3 and 1 more. Who's done their Christmas cards? Oh, everyone who has sent Christmas cards, thank you. They're wonderful. Okay, so let's put this, here's the top and the needle. And now I will roughly cut this out. And I probably won't trim it up at all until I assemble the whole quilt together. I can only imagine how this is all going to go together. There we go. What do you think, huh? All right, so we finished a Dear Jane corner, sort of, kind of. Let's put that there. Now I want to show everyone Becky's coasters. And when we went to her house for our Christmas party earlier in the month, she had cut out and prepared these coaster materials. And I want to show you how to do it. And like I say, this could be another pillowcase scenario, but I don't think so. Okay, so you start out with, how big is this? Oops. Hang on. Hello, iron. It's this thing that fell off. Huh, live TV. Okay, you're fine. I'm talking to an iron. The iron's fine. So these are 5 inches. So a 5-inch piece of quilt batting. 2 5-inch pieces, front and back, of your coaster. Yep, 5 by 5. And then 4 5-inch squares that you fold in half and crisply iron. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're going to make we're going to make a sandwich, sew all the way around it, and then flip it out. And one of these will show more. So let's see, which one do I want? Let's do green on the back. There, there, and there. This is like a magic trick. So there we have those 3 piled. Then here's the fun part. You take one of these with the fold end in. Okay, like that. You take a second one and you put it like that. Then you take a third one. This is like folding a box over, the top of a box. So there's the third one. And then the fourth one, remembering to put all your your nice crisply ironed sides toward the center. And I just wove that in. Okay? So now I'm going to pin it. These things, if you don't all go make these, I will be surprised. These are a great hostess gift. They are fun to use on your own stuff, your own furniture. Put them in with the Christmas ornaments and each year pull them out. Okay, now starting at one corner, sew 1/4 of an inch in all the way around. Yep, all the way around. Aren't you wondering how this is going to work? I'm sure you know. All the way around. So I've sewn that all the way around. Now, and I've caught all the edges, right? Knowing me, that would be something I'd do. Now what I'm going to do is cut off my thread, take out my pins. Now we could leave it like that. That would be a nice enough coaster, but what about all these raw edges? Well, let's cut the corners off. And then what you do is you go to where all these 4 pieces are together and you push your coaster inside out. And this takes a little bit of finagling, but the beauty is that there are no raw seams and you don't have to even whip stitch up a corner. Okay. And then I'm going to go in here with my scissors. And this is where I usually go too far and I do a blowout, but I'm going to try not to. Okay. Last one is being a little bit tricky. And there we go. And there is a Becky coaster. Then I guess I could iron it. This ironing board that doesn't have enough I don't know what the word is. There we go. It falls off. That's all I know. But it's not the board's fault. It's because I don't have a big enough lip here. To catch it. Oh, Chris, I thought of you this week because I had authentic Mexican food and it was delicious. And they also didn't have mole sauce. So that maybe that's not. Look at that. And I have enough to make another one. But first, I can't believe I haven't checked to see who's out there. Here. Yep, we've got all pieces. For some reason, my phone isn't charging. It's still on 13%. So if I lose you, I'm sorry. Let's see. Okay, and you know what? I'm going to get the big pad so I can show your pictures better. Okay. Oh, Norma. Hi, Norma Jean. Chris says, no mole, say it isn't so. I know. You know, we should go out for Mexican food sometime soon to celebrate the holidays. Okay. So, oh, you're out there, everyone. I'm psyched. Wendy, hello down under. Wendy says, hello, Lynn and everyone. I'm not watching live, but I'm thinking of you. I've been sewing microwave bowls for gifts this week. Oh, what a good idea. She says, I hope everyone enjoys the week leading up to the best time of the year. However, it's scorching hot here for Christmas, sadly. And then she says, have a great weekend to Lynn and everyone. You too. And I'm sorry to hear it's so scorching hot. I forget that we're alternated. You're scorching and we're freezing. Hey, Rosemary. Why, a new viewer from Missouri. Rosemary, hello. Oh, and she sent a beautiful picture. She says, I finally caught you live. It's been a long time. This is what I've been working on the last week for a friend in a nursing home. Can you tell what her favorite color is? It's, yep. Look at that. It looks so cool, the design you've made. Wow. And it's purple, and that's her favorite, her friend's. Wow, I really like that. And that is, the units of that are actually not all that complicated, are they? That is stunning. Aw, it's purple, she says. That's Pantone's color of the year, isn't it? She says, keep on what you're doing for many more years to come. Oh, thank you. Okay. Do you believe we're going to start the fifth year? Oh, I'm psyched. Okay, Carol. Hello, Carol. Is it 1 o'clock where you are? Or 1:30? She says, hi, Lynn and FiberCasters. I'm back with you live this week. She says, last week I was out with everyone from work for our Christmas party. 'Tis the season. She says, we had a great time, and the weather was not too bad either. All weekend we managed to avoid the snow. It was close to us, but all week was cold and a bit of rain. She says, all the rain we've been having has killed my downpipe. Looked out on Wednesday night and more water was coming out of the pipe and running down the house wall than was going down the pipe. Oh, but a nice gentleman came today to have a look, and he's coming back on Monday with a new downpipe for me. Oh, that's good. Water can take over, can it? That's good. But with this and all the other getting ready for Christmas things, I've been busy with this week. I've not gotten much sewing done as I would like, she says. I'm still working on the on Ringo Lake, but I'm still on clue 3 and only part way through. I've got some of the pieces cut ready for clue 4. When I get to them or want a bit of a change, as both clues need over 200 of each piece. Oh, bless you. Yours, Carol, in Yorkshire, England. But aren't they fun? Oh, everyone, boy, I love those mysteries. Look at that. Oh, ta-da. Oh, I can't wait to see what it looks like. Wonderful. Well, I'm glad you're with us, and Merry Christmas. Diane, hello. Oh, there are 2 from Diane, so I needed to go to the first one. She says, hello from chilly Northern California. She says, hello, Lynn and FiberCasters. My question to all of you, she says, is how the heck did it get to be December 15th already? She says, I'm always ready for Christmas, way before now. However, not this year, she says. I've been a bit overzealous and started way too many quilts with the intention of giving them as gifts this year. Well, she says, I do have all the tops done. Out of the 4, I have 1 quilted, just need the binding made and sewed on. The second one I've cut out and sewn the binding, but the back is not finished. Third one has been sandwiched and quilted as well as the binding sewed on, but I still need to do the hand sewing on the back. And the 4th one still needs to be sandwiched, everything else done to it. However, this one is 96 inches long because my son-in-law is 6 feet 8 inches. That's funny. I've been thinking of that too because I've been making a quilt for my nephew who is tall. That's funny. And that one is giving me issues in sandwiching. Oh no. And she says, oh, and did I mention that this needs to be all done by this weekend so I'll have time to do the binding? Grr. I feel you. She says, every year I make all of my coworkers gifts and I give them at the Christmas party, which we just had this past week. She says, I made 28 phone charge holders, all custom and to their likings. Oh, how nice. Was it like, I used this that you gave me. So Diane made this and it's wonderful. I put my phone right on it when it's working. Look at that, my phone is only at 13%. Huh, something's wrong. Anyway, wow. Okay, so Diane made 28 phone charger holders, all custom to their likings. So she says, I think I'm going to sit and watch FiberCast, perhaps have a glass of wine, and jump in tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. and hit it hard. Oh, I love that. I hope your feet are up. She says, I'm wishing you all a beautiful holiday. Whether you celebrate or not, may you have joy and peace and laughter. Diane from Northern California. Thank you, Diane. It's a lovely note. And I am going to check in with you this weekend. I know you can do it. Oh, and Diane says, now she sends me another note. She says, me again. Oh my, she says, I'm afraid to see the coasters as I'm easily distracted and can see myself pulling out my stash. Oh, Dawn is out there. Hello, Dawn. She says, on this bitterly cold evening, I know, sitting here hand sewing binding onto a quilt, enjoying my time with you and the fellow FiberCasters. She says, I loved how your last week's project turned out. Bet the gift recipient loved it. Oh, we did. She did. We had a nice time. Lucille was the recipient. And it turned out I received her traveling kit. So it was wonderful, which she had made out of an Altoids box. It was very creative, you know, little tiny. So you can just put it in anything you're traveling. So it was great. And she says, I love those coasters and looking forward to a basket quilt project. Oh, good. Sending smiles, Dawn. Excellent. Hi, Carol. Carol's out there. She says, hi, Lynn and FiberCasters. I'm not sewing tonight as my fabric is in the wash. Ooh, good. Just wondering if you wash and sew or just sew. Okay. And she says, I'm thinking about creating a donation quilt in orange. Do you have any suggestions? And she says, I'm loving your creation behind you. Any insight or inspiration you can share. Happy sewing, everyone. Oh, Carol, I love this. I love that you asked the question. So first, wash or not wash? I do both. Depends on the material. So if it's an older material, say that came out of someone else's stash, that I wash it. And sometimes I'll even put a little vinegar in with it if there's a little bit of a mildewy smell, but I'll wash it. And I use Tide. And sometimes it'll fade the fabric if it's old and not, but that's okay. I'd rather have it clean and a little faded than not. If it's brand new quilt shop quality fabric that has a nice hand and feels really heavy, oftentimes I don't wash that. I assemble it all and then I quilt it. And then most times I give it as is. I don't even wash it. But I know many people live by the rule that they wash it themselves before they give it to the recipient, so they know that if it ran, they put color catchers in it. Shout color catchers. when you wash a quilt for the first time. Absolutely. Even if it's not reds or dark blues, indigos, put those color catchers in there. So some people even wash it after it's all done because it shrinks up and becomes nice and soft. So that's my opinion. It'll be interesting to hear what other people think. As to creating an orange quilt for a donation, I love that. Any color quilt is beautiful. Suggestions. Ooh. I love how you stick with one pattern and repeat it. So I would just keep doing that. Any pattern. That's the beauty of the quilts you're making right now, is you're sticking to one pattern and you're repeating it. And they just look stunning. So Carol has done a peppermint swirl. It's just what it sounds like. It's a pinwheel, red and white, and it twists around, and it's just stunning because of the repetition and your quality of work. I mean, you've jumped in. I think it was a fence rail, maybe the one that you're doing for Christmas. What would you do? Suggestions. If you have enough big scraps of orange, let's say you have 6 big scraps, cut them all in strips and make an around the world quilt. I think that's what it's called. And then sew all the strips together, then cut it again. Oh no, sew it into a tube. This might be a little more. Look up around the world quilt, trip around the world quilts. See if that might work. It might get a little complicated. Anyway, what do other people think Carol should make with her orange scraps? I love thinking about that. And behind us, thank you for liking this quilt. In fact, maybe we can see more of the houses. It has a lot of different funky houses. Oh, and Kelsey Ullman from Blueberry Studios quilted it. And it has snowflakes on it, which I love. And it has, I don't know if you can see over here, but it has houses all the way around the edge so that, and up here is where the pillows go, which is why there aren't many houses there. So all the houses are down lower, but it has houses all the way around so it can go over the side of the bed. I don't know, that the inspiration is just play with fabric like it is paint. Is one idea. Just and then sew straight lines and cut it over. And I really want to explore this technique with the baskets. So I'm glad that's a good segue. I'm glad you mentioned that. So again, we're going to do a basket sampler quilt, and it's really going to be free form, I'm thinking. I know if anyone has a basket pattern that they like one that they've designed, I know Becca has started designing some. Send them to me. Send them to lynn@simplycolorful.com. Let's see what we get, and then we will either design our own with those patterns, or we might see if any of the patterns that Becca posted are existing. We could do free form, so I'm leaving it really wide open, but that is the plan. And we can do all sorts of discovery about the meaning of baskets, right? The metaphor of baskets, and filling them and emptying them and filling them again. And it'll be fun. Thanks, Carol. I'm glad you're out there. And speaking of Carol, we have Carolyn. Oh, I'm so excited about this post. I can't wait to show you this. So Carolyn says, hello, Lynn and FiberCasters. I hope everyone is well, and it is fun. I'm watching for the first time live. Really? Welcome. Okay, I just have to show this first, and then I'll read your note. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, Carolyn. So this is Carolyn's first time watching live, and she says, I don't have any sewing going on right now, but I do have my Christmas tree I can show you. It's beautiful. She says, I've done that lately, and all of my other decorations are ready for the holidays. She says, it's dry here in California, hoping for some weather soon. I look forward to this FiberCast every week. This really gets me going. Oh, she says, I'm a new widow and trying to get along with my life, so I live near my sons and my grandchildren, and that helps a lot. She says, I wish all of you a very Merry Christmas and a happy holiday season. Thank you for this FiberCast, Lynn. Oh, thank you for joining us and for, with your tree, showing us the spirit of Christmas continues. It's beautiful. I'll see you next week. But don't leave yet. We have a few more minutes. I'm so glad you're out there. Okay, whoops. Getting all discombobulated. Norma, who I said at the beginning, and then I saw lots of others. Oh, speaking of Christmas trees. Norma says, hey, Lynn, hope you and everyone had a nice week. I'm cleaning on the house and have 2 cakes in the oven. Ooh, I can almost smell them. She says, we're having our little family Christmas tomorrow after the hubby gets home from work. I put my brown bag mystery quilt up for now until I can get some more time from where I had a time with those weather vanes. Oh, the weather vane block, I know. Maybe there's an alternative to that. She says, LOL. I went and watched your video a few times, so now when I get my material, I think I will finally be able to get them done. My fingers crossed I can anyway. You know, my sister did a video of an alternative way. Let me see if I can find that. She may have posted it on Patreon, and I wonder if it still exists. Hopefully it does. I'll try and go find that and send it to you. They're a pain. They're just, these are weather vane blocks for anyone who might not know. This is one block on the brown bag mystery quilt that we did last year. And it's just a bear of a pattern. Anywho, let's look at this beautiful picture and then I will read the rest of. Look at that. Getting ready for Christmas tomorrow. What a pretty tree. Oh, I love the poinsettia is on it. That is a good idea. Ah. She says, I have my sister's top ready to quilt. So now I'm doing the clues to the mystery, the on Ringo Lake. She says, I didn't have the colors in my stash and I couldn't go buy any at the time. And I didn't want to have to wait because it would have been a while. So I'm using Christmas fabric. You've done that before and it always turns out really well. She says, and I love it so far. But anyway, hope you and everyone has a great weekend. You too. Merry Christmas. Ah, okay. I think we have time for one more coaster. So again, this time I'm going to do red on the bottom. Actually, no. Well, anyway, I've got my sandwich. Because this one didn't turn out as I thought. I thought I was going to have a green one. So let's see what happens here. This one I'm going to try and have a red one come out at the bottom. So if we're turning it inside out, the way to do that is put red there. So you see how I'm doing this? I know it's very dark. And then this one, and then the last one you weave in. So you pull that forward. And then like that. Okay. Now we'll sew it. Oh, I just love to see everyone's pictures. And hear that you're all out there. And how cool is it that we're talking amongst and communicating from Great Britain to Australia. At the end of January, I'm bringing my machine up to Quilted Crow. If anyone locally, maybe Jean. I'm kidding. I forgot I hadn't said her name. Okay, so see on the back how I just barely caught that? So I'm going to go in a bit. Same thing here. This coaster's going to be smaller. I betcha. And the reason is that on the back, my square shifted a little bit. So that's a good learning. I'll show you what I mean. See how on the back there it shifted? So it's okay. It will be fine. I mean, you can wash these, throw them in the washing machine. So now again, I just dip your fingers in here and turn each corner. And as I do this, let's make a plan to enjoy the next week. Try not to get stressed out. Try to see the prettiness in things, the beauty in things, and try not to get caught up in the hustle and bustle unless it's fun for you. Whatever's fun, do what's fun. And let's make a date to meet up again next Friday. So there, I think we're done. Oh, let me keep going. We're not quite done. We have 2 more minutes, but I think we're done. Let me just. My ironing board fell off again, so I won't iron it. But how cool is that? And you could sew on it now. Like you could put decorative stitches around it. Okay, well, put this over here. Oh, so in conclusion, thank you for joining me. I hope you had fun. I hope you, if you were working on something, I hope you were amazed at what you accomplished in 60 minutes. I know I am. I'm pretty proud of the fact that we did this and this. Have a great week, everyone, and thanks for joining me. Bye.